Okay. Great. Don't care about that. Okay. I think we stopped with Evie Nemeth, who was floating out in the Pacific Ocean in a boat. Never to be seen again, at least since then. Yeah, sorry for all the mix-up. We've had two computer failures in the last week. Just a fluky thing, so that is what has kind of thrown me off. This is the state of my current workstation. It's actually ready to go together. I was about to put this $400 copper heatsink back on the CPU, and then discovered today that of all the tons of stuff I brought into my office from my home, I did not include thermal paste. And that was step 1 out of 40 steps, so I still have 40 steps to go. And this is why everything's rewired, and that's why this stuff was all missing, because it was being used for the other. The little workstation down there on the corner, though, that little Linux box that I showed you that one day, that's working just fine. It's doing the trading that's normally done by that torn apart machine up there in the corner. But it has added a lot of time to my schedule. And to buy and replace all the repairs I need to get that working again from a field water pump. Okay, I think we can continue here on the topical issue. I assigned you all to watch the South Park video, and I hope you all watched it. That was an actual assignment. Now today, I assign you to watch the video where Trump murders all of the journalists in the room, which is causing quite a scandal, much more than the South Park video did. And you say, what? Yeah, some of his supporters put together a edited scene out of The Kingsman, of all movies, where Trump's walking out of the church, and in the video it's called the Church of False News or something like that, and somebody on the liberal side of the fence is complaining to him, and everybody in the audience is sitting with names like CNN and BBC and MSNBC and NBC on their little captions on their head. So Trump goes crazy and pulls out a pistol and kills everyone in the church. And this is actually circulating today. So you're assigned to watch that. You might as well be in touch with the insane world outside of Harvey Mudd College. We are still plowing through Exchange Traded Products. I finally did get the chapter done. That was also slowed down by the fact that the workstation I usually use to put that stuff together is the one that all fell apart. But I finally did get that posted up yesterday, and I apologize for the late posting of that. But now that's ready to go. And we have a spring break or fall break coming up next week, so can probably get caught up on things a little bit there. Now, let's see, we had covered kind of what ETPs are and made some mysterious references to their complexity. We described some as being identical to, but even better than, mutual funds, and used the index ETPs as an example, SPY and IWM and DIA, the ones that track the same indexes that we talked about in the mutual funds section. I think one of the really disturbing things about losing my machine right now is this is the beginning of earnings season, And I need that big workstation actually right now to do all the background data gathering for the strangle trades I have to do. And the first strangle trade would be on Wednesday, so I'll probably have to miss it. And I haven't missed Netflix in years. And that is usually my largest trade of the year, or largest trade of the quarter. I make 4 of those trades per year. That's usually a $10,000 to $20,000 trade. But I'm not prepared to go into the trade because of haven't been looking at the data to see how the options are being priced right now. And today would have been the day I would have bought it, and I didn't, so I guess I'm going to have to miss that trade. But the other one that I trade and still am in position, because the little Linux machine right here can actually run, the one there in the corner sitting on the stack of books, that can run all I need to run for that trade. And so I am in a SPY strangle right now. The little trades I'm able to do, the big trades I've got to wait until I fix that machine. And the trades are in the case of on the ETFs, in case of SPY. Now, whether it is an ETF, an exchange traded fund, as they're all called inappropriately, or whether it's something else like an exchange traded note, depends upon how it's collateralized. This ends up being a very complicated part of the argument, and we're not even going to be able to finish it today or this week, or when we're in this section, because to understand it requires a full understanding of futures contracts. And so we go to the bond side of the house for about 3 or 4 days, then we go to futures, and at the end of the futures segment, we come back to ETPs, and we talk about those ETPs, specifically the exchange traded notes and the like that are collateralized by futures contracts rather than by market baskets of stocks. So that's the distinction you need to understand if you're ever going to trade these things for either your retirement account or to simply trade them for the sake of trading something. Oh, before I forget to tell you too, I know that some of you fancy Robinhood because it's free. They're all free now. The competition provided by Robinhood caused Charles Schwab 2 weeks ago to announce that their trades are free. Last week, all of the others followed suit. So Interactive Brokers is now free. There's no minimum account balance. You have to open Interactive Brokers. And in fact, it used to be that Interactive Brokers required $25,000 to open an account there. Now you can get in for $100. And so if you're going to trade, I recommend Interactive Brokers, and I recommend the use of their front-end trading system, AWS, which is free, once again. Backup, I guess, would be TD Ameritrade as the second choice, probably. Now, all exchange-traded products collateralize their value by holding securities or commodities, depending on the type of fund, in an amount roughly equal to the market value of the shares of the ETP in circulation. For example, the title slide showed a picture and stated the value of the physical gold that is held by Street Trackers, which is the big GLD fund that I have a big holding in and trade a lot. So the collateral is typically held in the form of a market basket of securities, and that's what makes that class of ETP identical to mutual funds, because that's true of mutual funds as well, such as those that would make up a global index fund, or futures or forward contracts or portfolio of futures contracts, including some for physical commodities like USO, as we're going to look at as an example here in just a minute. And then finally some, as we know from the example of gold and its companion ETF silver, hold physical commodities like physical gold. The method of securing collateral is always described in the ETF prospectus and is absolutely something you have to understand if you plan to trade anything along these lines for any kind of account. Now, again, more along the lines of the traditional ETF, we've already, the liquidation, of course, the Treasury's